Welcome back to the Talk with Maynard podcast, the podcast about motivation, awareness, disabilities, world problems, and cars.
This week we're going to talk about everything that makes us and this country great. We want to take a basically non-political approach to this topic, talk about how the United States is great without really getting into too much politics. There's more about the U.S. that's great about the U.S. than just the political system, and we're going to discuss things that truly make us the best country on this planet.
So, here we are in the discussion. I skipped a little something right there, but we're in the discussion. There are many reasons why the United States is great. Here are all the things that we think is great about the United States.
We don't want to be really too political. I mean, like one side or the other. But, historically, we do have the best political and economic system that's ever been developed. It's not perfect. We're constantly working on it. And we don't want to argue one way or the other. This first section of things is maybe somewhat political just because it's the freedoms that we enjoy here that we wouldn't otherwise have. But, again, we're not wanting to get too political with this.
The reason why we don't want to be political is it just seems like that's all people can think about is the politics of the United States. People live here, it's like a daily thing, politics is. And when you get on social media, you see it. When you get on the news, you see it. But I think people just forget how good our country is without the politics.
Yeah.
And like we said, this stuff is kind of political here at the top, but not really. It's just kind of freedoms that we have because of our political system.
Yeah.
But we're not necessarily talking about the political system here, though. So, like we said, it's not perfect, but it's still a great place to be. And the first thing I had on this list is you're allowed to have as many children as you want. That kind of goes even way back in the days, you had people on farms and stuff, they had large families because they need lots of help and stuff. And they could have as many kids as they wanted.
And there are countries, one big country in particular that limits the number of kids you can have. You can only have this many. And
if you have more than that, it could be bad.
Yeah.
So, and I guess part of that is some of these countries have population problems. I think there's areas of our country that do, but we're not overly populated, so we can do that. You can have as many children as you want, and you can also see family all you want here.
Yeah. Minus coronavirus, but
minus
anyway.
Coronavirus, yeah.
But no, when things are normal, you're free to be with your family, and
you're free to go to their house. As I don't know, I can't really think of countries that don't allow you to be at your family, but yeah, you're definitely free to be your family. You can have parties and barbecues and get-togethers with your family. You're allowed to be together whenever you want.
Yeah.
You're not stuck somewhere and kept somewhere and then you can't see your family.
Yeah.
You can see them all you want in the United States, which is a really good thing.
Yeah.
Except for with coronavirus or whenever you live in Texas and you're stuck at home because it snowed.
Yeah. Exactly.
But,
and that could be any part of the country.
Yeah, it could be any part of the country.
We're experiencing that right now. So, next item that we just kind of discussed was that you do have the ability to start over. First of all, you have the ability to be and do whatever you want to be, no matter how hard, what you want to work for. Nobody's telling you have to take a certain profession, that you have to stay within a certain economic whatever.
Yeah.
You can better yourself and be beyond what you were born. But if you get to the point, or you go ahead.
We live in a country. What's the saying? American dream. That kind of thing. If you come from a country that I can't think of the word that you use, but where you're kept under control, you can come here and you can start from scratch and work your way up.
No matter, you're in a certain economic class and you'll never get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, there's a businessman on YouTube that we've seen that I think Cody follows, and he came from another country, from a Middle Eastern country.
Yeah.
And he worked hard. He got into real estate and mastered it, and he has,
we like cars.
Amazing
he has so many.
Wealth. Yeah.
Yes, and we have cars, and he just goes and orders the most expensive cars on the planet and owns them. And I do have another YouTuber I follow. He's from Russia, and he came here with his parents, and he is making good money and has lots of cars and stuff too.
Yeah.
Not quite the other one we're talking about, but yeah.
Yeah, and maybe it's not, when we're talking money, because kind of everybody always equates that to success, but, you can do what it is that makes you happy,
And here you can get a job doing anything. If you lost work or something, you can still go to Sonic and get a job, and work your way back up.
Yeah.
So even after you hit rock bottom, you can start working your way back their direction.
That's right.
And then also ability to start over. It's kind of difficult, but let's say you get in trouble or whatever. Well, you're kind of limited, like if you went to jail or something, to what you can do. But there's people that's happened to them. They turn their life around, and they're pretty successful too. Now, granted, that's a very hard thing to do.
It's hard, but
you can do it.
Yep.
So, okay, so that brings us to the next thing I think's cool about our country. You're able to leave and then come back, like leave the country completely. Oh, you want to go to this country to visit and then come back? You can. I can think of a few countries where like you go, you're not coming back, or you can't leave and go anywhere. Yeah. I can think of one in particular where they won't let you leave. But
right, so we do have the ability to, and you could, take a residency somewhere else and come back. So you can travel abroad or internationally and make your way back.
And you're also allowed to have like dual citizenship.
Yeah.
You can be a citizen of the United States and a citizen of another country. Yeah. You can do that. So that's pretty cool, and it's pretty cool. You can leave and come back. You can get on an airplane, go somewhere, and get on an airplane, come back.
Yeah.
When everything's normal.
Right. That's right.
Yeah.
Assuming things are normal.
Yeah. Assuming things are normal. Okay.
Couple of things these kind of go together. We made separate points, but we do help each other out. When put down here, basically like through charities, which we promote, and everything we do is donate to MDA. But not only that, but just if you've seen times of natural disasters, like the floods in Houston and the hurricanes years ago, and in New Orleans and places, and we do get together and we help each other out above and beyond anything else. But we help other nations out as well, and that can be a source of contention somewhat. But what we do, we're a giving nation. Yeah. We're a giving people.
Yeah, we're a giving nation and people. You can think about like Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah.
Think about what was that hurricane that happened in Houston?
Ike, I think it was.
And then that other one that happened more recently.
Yeah.
But flooded. And I remember people on YouTube, I watched stuff, they'd be in another part of the country, and they came to Texas to help.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to help each other. And then we help other countries, and that's really good. And it's kind of, this is almost kind of political, but the United States is kind of a peacemaker because of that.
Well, that's true.
I think the world is relatively at peace. Lots of areas are because of the United States. So.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, that's true. That's very true.
So that gets us to the next thing. We have a unique culture, and due to many influences, you can be whatever race or whatever and be here.
We they always said called America the melting pot.
Yeah.
And It very much is so, because people are all from all over the world, and they bring their influences and their cultures, and they mix together. And like you said, I mean, just restaurants for one thing.
You can find a block, American restaurant, Chinese restaurant, Mexican restaurant, all in the same block.
Yeah.
There's even restaurants, like Mexican fusion places, where like maybe a Mexican family and a Chinese family got together, and they'll open restaurants and stuff, and even places where they different styles and stuff, they'll mix them together. Right. So they'll be like, well, we're going to serve Chinese food and Mexican food together.
Yeah.
Or we're going to take Chinese influences and put it on like Mexican style jewelry and clothing and stuff. Yeah. So yeah, you can have all kinds of different things.
So it's American culture. Mm-hmm. It is. It's a mix of what everybody's brought from their original homeland.
America's a very cool place because of that. You can think of like New York and stuff with their Chinatown and different things.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty cool. And then the next one is one I think is really important. You have the ability to disagree and have your own thoughts.
Yeah.
We don't want to get political about this one. You can, but you can disagree about sports, or you can disagree about the weather. You can disagree about, and it's okay. You ain't gonna get persecuted for having a thought that's wrong.
That's right.
You can't have a wrong thought. So.
That's true. Like I said, that wraps up the first half of the things that we think. The next set of items will be definitely uniquely here and have nothing to do with our political system, and but just the country itself, the land itself. I think that's going to be fun too.
So we're going to take our break, and we'll be back with Guess That Car Sound.
All right.
Now it's time for Guess That Car Sound. Guess that. I don't even know why I'm explaining this no more. It's where
you may have not watched it before.
Yeah, you may not have watched it, I guess. But it's where one of us has an audio video clip and the other person guesses. This week I am picking the car and Daddy's on the guess, so we'll get straight into it.
I'm ready.
So I'll play the clip and we will get right to it. So I'll give you one hint before we start. I should have this on the last one. They do match up with the podcast we're doing.
Well, you said that before we did this, so I don't. That's interesting.
This is America.
Okay.
So here we go. Have a long clip.
It almost sounds like it could be a Top Fuel dragster or something.
One clue is burnouts. Is one clue.
Those
definitely.
Okay.
Well, you could definitely tell it's a burnout, probably.
Yeah. So.
You probably can't even get anywhere close to it.
Well, I mean, this definitely sounds like a V8 car.
Yes, definitely a V8.
So burnout.
What kind of V8 do you think it is? Like make? It's not Top Fuel. It's not that insane. So.
Yeah. I don't know why I said that. Just because it was burnouts.
You probably can't guess that either.
So, I don't know. It's either LS or a Hemi. I just don't know which one.
LS is going the right direction.
Okay.
LS, it comes from one of our favorite shows.
Okay. Okay.
To me, it's the most American sounding car on that show.
Okay, so it'd have to be like the Crusher Camaro, or it'd have to be the muscle truck.
There you go.
Or is it the muscle
It's
truck?
the muscle truck.
Well, so yes, that's probably my
It's just
favorite
an
one on
American
it.
sounding
Yeah.
vehicle. There's honestly parts of that clip where I could have gave you a little closer, but there's talking in there.
Yeah.
As soon as you
Okay.
hear him talk, you know what it is. But yeah, it's the muscle truck from Roadkill. The OG muscle truck.
OG. It says
They had
like
a Ford
s-
muscle truck
yeah.
and stuff, but this is the original Chevrolet.
Yeah, it's like a 74 step side short bed,
Yeah.
little square body truck, and it has a big, like a 500 cubic inch something engine, a Chevy engine. In it. So yeah,
It's an LS engine,
okay.
LS something with fuel injected
Yeah.
and stuff. So yeah, and the exhaust on it's there's no crossover. It's just straight
Yeah.
on both sides.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's what it is.
Muscle truck. Hey,
So here's the clip I just played. So that's the clip, and apologies for any noise in the background. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's the clip, and that's all we have for Guess That Car Sound. Okay, and we're back to the discussion now, and these are going to be. We're not trying to be political, but these are going to be even less than the first
Yeah.
part of the podcast. These are not at all. These have more to do with the way our country's laid
Yeah.
out and stuff.
so and a lot of these were things I thought of, and I'm just going to go ahead and hit the first one I put on here was our natural resources. Energy. I mean, I don't know that any country can be entirely self-sufficient, but the U.S. is probably as close to any country. We do have the ability to make our own energy. There's there's oil in the ground in various states. We have technology for solar and wind energy. We have plenty of lakes and natural water and good farmland. One thing that drew people here was the ability to raise food.
Mm-hmm.
So we can do all that here. There's obviously we import and export a lot of things, but
Mm-hmm.
I think the U.S. could be fairly self-sufficient just with our resources that we have.
And it's funny, we didn't realize that to begin with. I'm going to go way back to the beginning, that the settlers came to this area and they're getting sick and couldn't figure out the land stuff, and the Indians showed them how to do it, and
Yep.
Native Americans showed them how to do it, and all of a sudden they realized how great
Yeah.
it is that you can farm and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So that's really good, and they're able to sustain themselves after that.
Yeah. So we have all the resources here
I want
to take care of ourselves.
to skip, we'll skip around a little bit, and that has to do with the size and the landmass of our country.
That does. That's probably a good skip to make, and I was trying to kind of not go there, but just Texas, where we are, is as big as the better part of Europe.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not even the entire U.S. And right here in Texas, you have deserts, and you have forests, and you have everything in between. Coastal lands, you have really cold weather up north.
You can grow many different things. You can
Many different
raise
things.
many different animals just because of that.
Yep.
So that kind of brings in weather too, right there. You're
Yeah.
kind of talking about that already.
Go
The
ahead.
way it is with the weather is if you don't like the weather where you live, you can move a few miles or move to another state and find weather you like.
That's right.
Whether you like cold, snowy weather or warm weather, or you like tropical weather, you can even go all the way to Hawaii if you want to for that. So you have islands, and you have land in the middle of the country, and coastal land. You have all of that, and you have so many different weather because of that.
If you, I guess the thing comes to my mind is like England. They say it rains every day, and it's actually kind of dreary. Well, if you want to see weather kind of like that, you move up to like the Pacific, the Northwest,
Mm-hmm.
Oregon, Washington. I think they have an awful lot of rain.
Mm-hmm.
If you really like the cold weather,
Mm-hmm.
you can move, to the Midwest.
And if you don't like fireworks, you can move to California.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yep.
you can do all that.
Yeah, but you can find the weather that suits you without leaving the country, more than likely.
Mm-hmm. And then we talked about leaving the country, but talking about traveling in the country. You can travel freely and stuff, and all these things kind of lead to that. Let's say you live in a cold area. Well, you want to take a road trip to somewhere tropical?
Yeah.
Go ahead and go for it.
There's an awful lot to see and take in without leaving this country.
You can see other cultures within the country.
Yeah.
And so many different people traveling, and it's just nice. I look forward to the trip we take to Minnesota some years, and you drive all the way there and get to see how different everything is.
Yeah.
See the land change and see the changes in weather, and it's pretty neat.
And that kind of goes back to the size of the country and the resources we have. I mean, you got the mountains in the middle through Colorado and stuff. Then you have the mountains like through Tennessee and Virginia and Kansas. The Appalachian Mountains. So you can get mountains, or you can get deserts. Like Arizona, New Mexico.
If you're in
Nevada.
countries across the pond and you want to see a different area, you have to have a passport, because you're gonna be going from country to country.
Yeah.
Instead of state to state. Most of our states are the size of countries. So,
most of them are. So you can do all that without having to leave the country and see.
I'm talking about even Texas. Of course, we have the biggest state in the actual continental United States, but even just within our state, you can see so many different kinds of weather and things.
That's right.
So
that's exactly right.
So I don't know if there's anything else you want to discuss.
I don't
here.
know. I mean, that kind of brings it just to me. I guess through that little part right there, just the natural resources, the ability to grow food and produce energy, in the land, to be able to own your own piece of real estate. And I think it's so important, and part of what makes this country truly great.
So that's all we have for discussion. We're going to get into the closing now. That's all we have for you this week. I kind of skipped again. That's bad.
Well,
but that's all we have for you this time.
I'll do your part this time, since you got it listed for me. You can be sure to follow Project Maynard on Facebook at Project Maynard, on Instagram at Project Maynard, on YouTube by searching Project Maynard, on Twitter at Project Maynard1, and you can look us up online at projectmaynard.com. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.